Welcome to the Spark Series, where one idea, one story, and one spark can ignite the growth of your business and change your life forever. Today, we're diving into one resource you can't create more of, your time. So, do you know you're 168? That's how many hours there are in a week, 168. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Many people have no idea what they spend their time on. They just know they're busy, and just always too busy to do the things that can make you really happy. But today, I want you to leave this video with a mission. Figure out and understand your 168 and take real control of your destiny. Now look, if you're totally satisfied with your life, hitting all your goals, sculpted like a Greek god, fluent in Mandarin, playing the cello, and winning at pickleball, congratulations. You can check out now. But chances are you're here because there's something you still want to do in your life and you are struggling to find the time. Maybe it's getting to the gym more than once a week. Maybe it's finishing that book you started 5 years ago. Maybe it's learning to cook, to dance, to golf. Whatever it is, you can find the time, and we're going to help you figure it out. But first, you have to understand where you are now and discover where you can find the time to make the change that will drastically change your life. Let me tell you a story. I was on a flight to Cleveland from LaGuardia for Deloitte training. Sitting next to me was a college sophomore named Christina. She was about 19. Me in my early 20s, sitting next to a young woman. Naturally, a conversation started. Right? She ultimately confided in me that she was struggling in school and was considered actually dropping out. She said she had a job offer from a friend who ran a restaurant, but she didn't sound too thrilled about that either. I told her I worked at Deloitte as a CPA and did a lot of recruiting. She leaned in and said, "Tell me a secret. How do I get hired by a firm like Deloitte?" I smiled and I told her my story. I said, "See, like me, my first year of college was kind of a disaster. I didn't make the transition from high school to college very well. In high school, my days were packed. The classes started at 7:30. They ended at 2:45 after school with sports practice. We had dinner, and then we had 2 to 3 hours of studying. It was a full, very well-structured day. So when I got to college and I realized I only had 5 classes, that's 15 credit hours a week. I thought I hit the jackpot. Only 15 hours? This is going to be a breeze. And in a couple of hours of studying at night and track practice, which to be fair is a lot more intense in college, and I figured I was still putting in close to a full-time workload. I thought I was crushing it. But my grades, they told a different story. Whatever I was doing was not working. Christine was acting as she could relate. I could see her nodding. That's when I discovered the power of 168. Instead of sleeping in and scheduling classes at 10 a.m., I switched to all 8 a.m. classes. I bunched them together. I carved out time in the middle of the day to hit the library, 4th floor by the stacks, my spot. I still had lunch with my buddy Jeff, still had track practice, but now when I got back to my dorm room at 7 p.m., I had already completed 3 to 4 hours of studying every single day. The result? My grades went up. Coincidentally, my track performance also improved. And I still had time to become the president of the Accounting Society. I looked at Christine and she was nodding. She got it. She admitted she spent way too much time hanging out, watching soaps with her floor mates, sleeping in late. Sound familiar? When I was recruiting with Deloitte, we only took candidates with the best grades, 3.5 and above. So I had to find a way to differentiate the candidates. So I always ask candidates this one question: what do you do with your time? They usually say, "Well, I'm a full-time student." Great, I say, that's 15 hours of classes per week, 5 classes or 3 hours per week, right? And how much do you study? About 25 to 30 hours would be a typical response. Okay, let's say you eat and sleep 10 hours a day. That's 70 hours a week. They always agreed, thinking that was plenty. Now, if we add in the 15 hours of classes and the 30 hours of studying, that's only 115 hours. That leaves 53 hours. That's more than 2 full days of waking time every single week. My question is, what are you doing with that time? Their faces fall. They realize they're wasting 30% of their week and calling it busy. I know a lot of business people that think they're busy too. They work their 40 hours, commute another 10 hours, and 8 hours per sleeping every night. That leaves 62 hours for eating, drinking, family time, exercise, entertainment, and personal development. But when you're raising a family, your own time for personal development can feel completely unavailable. But listen to this. I had a friend, mother of 3. She had a full-time job and she ran marathons. I asked her, how the heck do you find time to train? She told me she got up at 4:30 every morning to work out. Then she came home, got her kids up, made breakfast, sent them off to school, jumped in the shower, and headed out for work every single day. And her marathon times? Impressive, under 4 hours. She figured out her 168. She made time for what mattered to her. She definitely never binge-watched Netflix, anything. I had a different challenge. Back when I was at Deloitte, during busy season, we would start at 8 a.m. and often didn't wrap up until 8 or 9 at night. Some nights, the audit team would grab dinner together, which left little room for anything else. If I wanted to exercise, it had to be early. I'll never forget one morning, it was 20 below zero. I got up and ran down to the beach. As the sun came up, I watched the steam rise off the ocean. Insane, maybe, but I was chasing something. And when something really matters to you, you find the time. You don't need more time. You need more intention. One more example. Let's take John Grisham. Long before the firm and other bestsellers, he was a full-time attorney working long hours, but he had a dream. And he made time for it. Every day he woke up just 30 minutes earlier and wrote for 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes a day, word by word, page by page. He wrote his first novel and it changed his life. Do you have 15 minutes a day to completely change your life forever? Of course you do. The question is, what will you do with it? Let me wrap this up and get back to my story. 2 years after that flight to Cleveland, I got a postcard at the office. At first, I had no idea who it was from. The woman in the office next to me teased me. "Who is this mysterious woman?" she said. The postcard read, "Hi, David. I reorganized my schedule like we talked. I found my 168. My grades improved. I landed this great job. I just want to say thank you." And she signed it Christina, and she drew a little tiny airplane next to her name. It took me a little while to figure out who it was from, but now we all know. So I end with this. If you do what others won't do, you'll live how others can't live. It's time to take a good hard look at your 168. Figure out where you have time that's not being used productively. If you reclaim just 30 minutes a day, that's over 180 hours per year. That's enough time to finish a degree, master a skill, or launch something great. So what's your 168? Figure it out, make it count, and when your life changes, send me a postcard. Thanks for joining me on this week's edition to the Spark Series. Remember, every breakthrough starts with a spark. See you next time.